This is got to be one of the most shocking stories of the year, of the decade. They've tried to smear a kid who has been handcuffed as he lay dying. Institutions across the country who just don't want to take responsibility for making mistakes. They're lazy. They're corrupt.
We came on this show last week and I said to you, because of the words that some people have said, there's going to be riots. What I said was going to happen has happened. Have I said he has no right to say people should be angry? No. But what I'm saying is, and so I'll ask you the question directly.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but
hello and welcome to the Daily Expresso with me, JJ Anisiobi. We are going to talk about a cover-up in the Henry Nowak case. But before we get onto that, I want to talk about the shocking video that's come out of Belfast overnight. James Walker, associate editor at the Express. A man's been arrested for attempted murder after an absolutely sickening attack. I would say to the viewers, if you are going to look at the video, have extreme discretion. I would not advise looking at it. It is popping up on social media, but it's really disgusting.
JJ, it's a horrendous video. Like you say, I would say to our viewers, extreme discretion if you're going to watch that video. I think some people want to watch that video to see what's happening in this country now. Mm-hmm. Some of the awful scenes we're witnessing. Just to go back to the case, JJ, what we know so far, and at the time of recording, just to let our viewers know, we're not recording this as it goes out. Essentially, we're a few hours behind probably what they're seeing, so things might have developed in that time. But as it stands, a man in his 30s, Sudanese, has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder following this attack, this awful attack in northern Belfast. The injured man in his 40s is still in hospital in a critical condition, and he's been left with serious injuries to his face, neck, and back. JJ, he said that police say he's in a critical condition at the minute. And having seen that video, I'm really not surprised. It's horrendous, isn't it, JJ?
Yeah. God willing, the man survives, and thank goodness for the brave local men in North Belfast there who intervened. It's
horrendous. This is, like you say, the suspected attacker had to be fought off by three really heroic bystanders. Keir Starmer said that the attack was sickening. It's also been described as a brutal attack. I think, to be honest, anyone who has seen the video, and I'm sure some people watching this will have seen the video, I would say that doesn't even really go far enough.
Yeah.
It's like this attack was savage. It was almost like inhumane. It was monstrous.
Barbaric.
Disgusting. Like despicable. Probably one of the worst things I think I've ever seen, frankly. Police have arrested this guy. Obviously, contempt of court laws being what they are in this country, there's only so much we can say. He's suspected attacker. There's a waiting trial. So we can't say too much at this time. But like anyone who's seen the footage, we're livid, aren't we, JJ?
Absolutely.
It's horrendous things to have to see. There's been some more reaction as well, hasn't there? Henry Nowak, speaking in northern Belfast, speaking about the attack in North Belfast, said she was absolutely horrified, and it was yet another reminder that we do need stronger borders. That's what she said.
Yes, yeah, because the one thing we do know is that this guy was not Northern Irish. He is a Sudanese national. I don't know anything else about him. I don't know, and as you say, with contempt of law, we're very limited on what we can say. But let's move on now to Henry Nowak. James, you have information about Hampshire police and the possible attempt at a cover-up in this case of Henry Nowak.
JJ, this is got to be one of the most shocking stories of the year, of the decade. It's really shocking. It's super scandalous. Can't believe I'm saying this, but Hampshire police have reportedly tried to intervene in the trial against Henry Nowak's killer by issuing a statement about disinformation online. This is during the trial. They're basically saying what we all know now to be true was disinformation. Why would they want to do that?
Why would they want to smear Henry? So what the information they're saying they were trying to say was disinformation. What information specifically were they trying to claim was disinformation?
They were trying to say that the police's behaviour, that because basically before this, as this case was ongoing, there was stuff online. We all saw it, describing what actually happened. That this kid had been stabbed, that there'd been a false report of racism, and the police had then responded in the awful way they did. And they were trying to say this is all disinformation, try and throw people off the scent, and try and essentially make Henry look bad, right? Why they want to do that, God knows, right? There's some really awful stuff as well. 3 days after, this is even worse, JJ. 3 days after Henry Nowak was killed, they wanted to put out another statement, and that statement said, It was reported 2 men had been assaulted by an unknown man. So what they're trying to do there is make Henry Nowak look like the aggressor. That was 3 days after police handcuffed Henry Nowak as he lay dying, and they tried to smear him.
But I don't understand why they'd want to. Were they trying to calm tensions? Were they trying to paint Henry Nowak as the aggressor? When surely at this point, I'm presuming they knew that Henry Nowak was the only person in this whole case that had been injured at all. The killer, he had like what, a little scratch above his eye or something like that.
Well, they didn't even have that.
So yes, I don't understand what the police's end goal was with this.
Well, look, JJ, I mean, we've covered cover-ups a lot at the Daily Express, and especially on our YouTube channel. A lot of our viewers would have seen them. The pattern with a lot of cover-ups is, and attempts to smear people like this, they're not thinking about anyone else other than themselves. The police are trying to protect themselves from scrutiny. They're trying to protect their image. They're trying to stop people looking at them. They're trying to make anyone else look bad, right? There's the old royal family saying of, never complain, never explain, right? The police's attitude to stuff now, not just Hampshire police, but loads of police forces we've seen, is always complain, never explain what they do, right? Why they've done what they've done, rather than come out and have to do the really difficult thing, which they still refuse to do, by the way, JJ, and say, look, we messed up massively. This is deep, actually just beyond incompetence. It's almost like deliberately vindictive behaviour on the part of our officers because they've been taught to do certain things which are moronic, right? Rather than put their hands up and say, we've been stupid, we've been awful, they've tried to smear a kid who has been handcuffed as he lay dying. I mean, it's shocking. And the reason they're doing that is to cover their own backsides. It's public relations. That's all they care about, is how they look, what scrutiny is put on them, what they might have to do to change. They don't want to put the hard yards in to change, to look at what they're doing. Do they have to look at the way they're doing things? Do they have to change the way they're doing things? Have they made a big mistake? Would they fess up to it? Those things are difficult. Smearing someone who has no voice to say anything anymore, that's easy. That's why they've done it.
Well, what stopped them from actually going ahead and putting out these statements?
Well, the court told them in no uncertain terms.
The CPS?
Yeah, they were told, with these statements and the other one about disinformation online, they were told, no, you can't release statements like this. It's going to prejudice, as we were talking about in the earlier segment about contempt of court laws. Yeah. They're very, very stringent in this country. And the police were told, no, you can't go releasing statements about disinformation and this, that, or the other. You cannot be prejudicing a trial like this. So the courts, CPS, essentially stopped them from releasing these statements. The fact they even drafted them up, JJ, I mean, I think it says a lot of really bad things about the state of current policing, and I think the culture, not just policing, but institutions across the country who just don't want to take responsibility for making mistakes, don't want to take responsibility for their bad actions, don't want to look at what they're doing and change things. They're lazy, they're corrupt. And so just say, JJ, sorry to butt in, but I think it's really important to say Henry Nowak's family were really, really upset with the police's comment in that statement that it was reported 2 men had been assaulted by an unknown man. And I think it was actually, their intervention in that statement that got the police to sort of go, okay, we're not going to release that.
Which, okay, we can say that the police wanted to do this, but then they actually didn't end up doing this based off of the CPS's advice and intervention from Henry Nowak's family. But where do you stand on all of the politicians? I'm not going to target just Farage, but all the politicians who have come out and spoken about it and continue to speak about it, which goes against the statement that Henry Nowak's family or his father put out on behalf of the family of not wanting to have his death used to create further division, hatred or tension. And yet we're seeing politicians using it to say politicians, not all of them, but we are seeing more than a few come out and use it to do that.
Maybe there's been a couple who have. I think you're probably talking about Farage. Would that be fair to say?
Well, Farage has said stuff. Jenrick has said things about it that have been used to cause division. Yeah,
on that sort of whole debate at the minute, I understand what Kemi was saying at the time with All Lives Matter, and I also understand why Farage came out and said, we have to sort of recognise that White Lives Matter as well. And I understand why he said that people should feel pure, cold rage as well. I don't think it is that controversial to respond to what's happened here and to say to people, actually, do you know what? If you're angry, that's valid. That is completely valid. And I think
I guess
they would say, and I understand where you're coming from, JJ. I really do. I understand where you're coming from. I disagree, but we just, as always on this podcast, we disagree respectfully.
You might have noticed I like to wear this gold watch, gold bangle, and gold wedding ring. Gold is physical. It can't be hacked, digitally manipulated, or printed into existence by governments. That's why I'm backing today's sponsor, the Pure Gold Company, which helps people buy UK minted gold coins like Britannia's and Sovereign's tax-free, and they've built a really strong reputation for their no-pressure approach and expert guidance. Now, they were even voted the UK's best gold broker. So if you want to understand more about buying physical gold and whether it's right for you, download their free guide to buying gold at the link below. By the way, mention my name, JJ, and for 6 months, you'll get secure storage for free. And also remember, the value of gold can rise as well as fall. So if you're not sure about investing, please do seek independent advice.
I think they've said, the operative word in that statement was pure cold rage, and they didn't want to see the heated scenes that we saw in Southampton with people, attacking the police. We're both small C conservatives, right? I'm a social conservative. I don't want to see people attacking the police. I don't believe in those things.
I still don't think Farage did enough with his language to quell that.
Yeah.
As I said at the time of recording last week, I said some people aren't going to hear pure cold rage and think, oh yeah, we should just go out and quietly protest. I think they're going to be heated and angry about it. But regardless of his language or Jemmic's language and the things that they've said, they're going against what the family of Henry Nowak have expressly requested and expressly said. And then further to that, last week, a white man stabbed someone to death in this country. I believe that the details around the case that the guy was some kind of cocaine addict or something. He'd stabbed someone to death. There's no word from Farage about that. No word from Farage about that. No word from Jemmick about that. Which makes then some people believe the issue that Farage and co have is that it's because it was a Sikh person doing this.
I don't think so, and I think a lot of the commentary on the right has been that
even today we've had another attack in Manchester, a knife attack in Manchester today. School kids. Thankfully, the person who with the knife has been arrested. I think the person with the knife might have also been a school goer. But school kids today, 3 kids stabbed today in Manchester. We're going to hear nothing about this from the same people who are expressing extreme rage about Henry Nowak. We're going to hear nothing about that from them today.
I mean, the reason they got involved with the Henry Nowak case is not just because it was a stabbing. And I'm not saying just because it's stabbing. Obviously, stabbings are terrible. It's because of the way the police treated him. That was what made it political, right? It's the way they treated him differently because of what he was falsely accused of doing, and the colour of his skin. To be frank, right? They turned up. I think there was a willingness to believe someone over someone else on that basis. And I think, as a podcast, that we just don't accept that, right? And I would just like to say as well, again, I understand the sort of debate around this stuff and why people have been concerned with it, but I would just say I think it gets away from actually what the central big problem is, which is what happened to Henry Nowak, right? People sort of say the debate the last week has been around, what did Farage say, what didn't he say, should he have said it, shouldn't he have said it? My response would be like, I kind of think we're missing the wood for the trees.
Well, no. So I think he shouldn't have said anything purely because of Henry Nowak's family statement of we don't want this abuse to sow division. Farage can feel as angry as he wants to feel. Jemmick, whoever wants to speak on it, they're free to speak on it, but respect to the family.
I think causing division and expressing anger are not necessarily one and the same. Respectfully, I think.
We came on this show last week and I said to you, because of words that some people have said, there's going to be riots. There will not be peace in Southampton. There'll be some people who follow Farage who are going to want to go down there and cause trouble. The police will be attacked, Sikh people will be attacked, and innocent people who had nothing to do with it are going to be attacked. And that's exactly what happened. What I said was going to happen has happened, and we can debate the ins and outs of whether people should feel angry. Of course, they should. People can feel whatever they wish to feel, but for me, the respect has to go back to Henry Nowak's family, and that is what they didn't want. We have people in Southampton who live in Southampton whose houses had the windows smashed in, their cars were smashed in. For nothing. They had nothing to do with it, and they were getting attacked. Police officers, female police officers, being bottled. Now, 11 of the, I'm going to call them rioters rather than protesters, because most people who were there protesting were not involved in any of these shenanigans. But 11 of the protesters have been arrested and charged. One of them found to be carrying, guess what? A knife. So the very same thing that they're out there protesting and writing about, one of their own protesters is out there carrying a knife, and the police arrested him and charged him for that as well. It seems awfully ironic that they're out protesting against the horrific murder of a boy who was stabbed to death. And then you're going to go out and carry a knife yourself.
Carrying a knife on the street is stupid behaviour, and no one's condoning that. No one's condoning the attacking of police officers, and I don't think Farage is condoning the attacking of police officers, to be honest. I think when people ask, why did protesters go out and attack police? Again, not justifying this at all. It's awful. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see people rioting in this country. I just don't. No one does, right? If someone said to me, why did they do that? I wouldn't say Nigel Farage. I'd say because the police made a massive mistake and treated someone awfully because of the colour of their skin, and people were rightly angry about that. The way they acted on that anger is not correct. I don't pin this at the door of Nigel Farage. I don't pin this at the door of any other politician. I pin this at the door of the police. And to go back to the police, JJ, I think to go back into this cover-up as well, another extraordinary detail from this case and the police terrible behaviour. The police knew they had a recording of Digwar admitting in Punjabi to his brother that he had stabbed Henry, and they were agreeing to lie about it, right? They had all this stuff. And they're still trying to release his statements, right? During the trial, before the trial, to make Henry look bad. Why are they doing this? And then, even worse, JJ, in a 999 call, a call handler was told that Henry needed urgent medical attention. This call handler, from his recording, they're obsessed with what Henry was supposed to have said to this guy, right? They're being told...
Confused. Sorry, go on. So who called 999?
Well, a member of the public calls in that Henry Nowak has been stabbed and needs urgent medical attention. They call in the incident. The call handler says, okay, he needs medical attention, fine. But what is he supposed to have said to this guy? And they're like, well, he's they say, oh, well, he's said this word. He didn't say it. To clarify, he didn't say that word, right? He said this word. And this is what I'm seeing from reports. They said, oh, okay, that's all we needed to know. I mean, again, to go back to, we ask why people are protesting. We ask why people are angry. That's why.
Yeah, no, I've got no issue with people protesting, people being angry. That's not my debate. What I'm saying is that turning it into violence and attacking innocent people.
Completely.
We've got a Sikh priest in Southampton that's been attacked. Sikh people in the community in Southampton are saying they're scared now to go out and about. That's not okay.
No, of course not.
And people can be as angry as they wish to be, and they can protest. Everyone should be out in the streets protesting. That's what they should be doing. Peaceful protesting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, I completely agree.
But I think, out of respect for Henry Nowak's family, then going and smashing up a city because you're angry, no, I don't think that's okay. How do you feel about Elon Musk and Vice President JD Vance giving their 10 cents about? I
don't feel anything at all.
No,
would be I don't care. I don't get what they've said. If they said something stupid, they said something stupid. I mean, American pundits do it all the time, right? I don't care what they're saying. I don't really the political stuff.
But that feeds into it, because Elon Musk has a huge influence in this country. He owns X. Yeah. His algorithm is the thing that is pushing through certain videos and certain opinions and not others. So you can say you don't care about it, but that has a huge influence. People are listening to Elon Musk. He's putting money into things in this country.
I think some people listen to Elon Musk, and I think some people, especially and including on the right of British politics, also treat Musk with a degree of sort of contempt and not really caring what he says. I don't care what he says. He's an American. He has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to British politics. He thought Tommy Robinson was the next Prime Minister in waiting, right? The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? He doesn't. And but again, are we sort of saying, when it comes to the anger, we're looking for why is there anger? And I think the temptation has been in the last couple of weeks for people to say, it's Farage that's causing the anger. It's Musk and his algorithms that are making people more angry. It's like, what happened is making people angry.
No. But so I think we disagree. No one is questioning why the anger. What people are questioning, and when it comes to perhaps Farage and Jenrick and co, it's the inflammation of the tension. That's it. Everyone understands why the anger is. No, I don't think any right-thinking person, and I mean right in the mind, not right of centre, any right-thinking person would read this case and have nothing but sympathy for Henry Nowak, and they should have nothing but pure anger
and contempt
for Duggar and his family. Thankfully, the mother's been arrested now for assisting him, trying to hide the weapon. The brother's also been arrested. The father's been arrested. Everyone should feel blind anger at that family. But people, I think the difference being though is that what I'm saying is there should be no one else being targeted. Sikhs shouldn't be getting targeted. Innocent people live on a cul-de-sac shouldn't be having their houses smashed in because people are feeling anger. That is the difference.
Yeah,
that's what I feel.
But I don't think our politicians have been saying. I
think they've added fuel to the fire. I think when you compare and contrast what Farage said to what Kemi Badenoch said, and even for Reform to take Kemi Badenoch's words and twist and make an advert that their own supporters have said, that's not what she said. Like that. Yeah, I mean, she said. Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter, and then they put a poster out saying, making it seem as if she only says that black lives matter and nothing else is important. That's just disingenuous.
No, I didn't think that poster was fair. But I mean, to go back to the point of whether or not they have inflamed tensions or not, we think that politicians are, especially in our democracy, they are representatives of the people, right? They're sent to Parliament to represent the people. If the people are angry, is it not valid for our representatives to say the people are angry and that they have every right to be angry? I think it is.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think that's inflaming tensions. I think that's just actually doing what a lot of politicians have failed to do in this country for decades now, which is to have some understanding of how people feel and telling them that they actually have someone in Parliament who can be bothered to listen to them and feels the way they do about the situations of the day, and contemptuous things like this, where a boy has again, I want to remind people of this, has been handcuffed as he lay dying. As police then tried to smear him, and people have every right to be super angry about that. And our politicians who represent them have every right to come out and say that they should and they are valid to feel angry.
Which is exactly what we've both been saying. But then, and again, but I draw the line. I draw the line.
Burn a bridge down.
So I
don't think that's the same.
Well, that's why I believe it's the same thing, because with Farage specifically, since we want to use him as an example. So when we talk about Farage specifically, when Sarah Everard was murdered by a police officer, Farage came out and gave a statement saying, we should not be taking out the anger on other police officers and on men in general. He was tempering it. So he's saying, yes, be angry, be upset about it, but he was tempering it. He didn't use any kind of temperate language when he spoke about Henry Nowak. And we can say, yes, of course people should be angry. And yes, we should have politicians who speak and are representative of the people who've elected them. But they also have to have the responsibility of trying to calm tensions. And I think if he'd come out and he'd tried to calm it more, I'm not sure that the flames would have been fanned enough that small minority of protesters would have turned into rioters and run a rampage in Southampton.
Well, I think we'll probably just keep disagreeing on that. But I think he's had every right to say that people should feel pure cold rage. And I do think cold...
Wait. You keep saying that. Have I said he has no right to say people should be angry? No. But what I'm saying is, and so I'll ask you the question directly. Do you think Nigel Farage should have come out, or any of the politicians, like Starmer did, like Kemi Badenoch did? Do you think our politicians should be saying, yes, it's okay to be angry, but do not channel that anger into attacking random people. Do not attack the Sikh community, and do not go smashing up police officers. Do you think he should have stated that clearly?
I think he did say he didn't tell it.
But
go out and
but he didn't tell people to not do that.
They're adults, right? They can make their own decisions.
God, I think you're in love with him. I think you are in love with him.
No, I think he's.
So why did he say it for Sarah Everard, but he couldn't say it for Henry Nowak?
Well, I mean, you have to ask him. I'm not going to.
But you are
PR guy.
But you are defending him. So, but you use your analytical brain. Why do you think he was able to temper the country for Sarah Everard, but he didn't do that for Henry Nowak? Like, I think he did the right thing with Sarah Everard. I think it's right to say, yes, this is a terrible, terrible case of one horrible police officer, but we shouldn't now be going to go out and attack every police officer because of this.
There's a key difference, isn't it? You said it yourself. In the case of Sarah Everard, it was one terrible police officer. Is that the same case with Hampshire? No. It's an institution. And as a politician, he has every right to say that institutions should be the target of pure cold rage. He hasn't said go out and chuck a bin at someone. He hasn't said go out and like fight people or break windows or smash houses.
And he didn't say that. He said Sarah Everard
you
either.
You should be angry at the institutions that are treating you like, I'm not going to use the word, crap.
He didn't say. Yeah, but he didn't say that with Sarah Everard either.
Valid.
But he kept it. He tried to keep. I'm saying he tried to keep the peace and keep people calmer. In this case, he did not attempt to do that. We're going to disagree on this the whole time.
I think so.
I'm saying people can be angry, and I encourage people to protest. If you're unhappy with things, protest. And there's no bigger protest than the general election. You get to vote and have your say for who you want to represent you going forward. Absolutely do that. But I draw the line at people turning their protest into rioting and having innocent people getting attacked.
I'm sure we both do. I think we both do.
I think I do. I don't know about you, James. Right. I think we'll call it a day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've got some more.
You got some more? Okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The Liberal wants to brush it under the carpet. So,
well, hopefully you've, I don't want to say enjoyed that episode, but we'd like to hear your comments. Tell us what you think. And if you don't mind, liking, subscribing and sharing, that would also help the podcast go a long way too. Thanks for watching. Right, a quick pause in the podcast to tell you about our sponsor, Incogni. You had those phone calls from numbers you don't recognize, or you go in your inbox and there's emails for stuff you did not sign up for. Well, that's because someone somewhere is selling your private information. That's where today's sponsor comes in, Incogni. They will contact these people who have been taking your information and they'll say, oi, stop, delete it. Go to the website, incogni.com. You type in the details. 2 minutes later, Incogni is sorting it out for you automatically. And because I love you, I've got you a discount. It ain't 10%, it ain't 20, 60% off. 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Just go to incogni.com/Daily Expresso or click the link in the episode description box below.